Who Owns the World? It's the title of a book from Kevin Cahill. Good afternoon to you, Kevin.
Good afternoon, Simon.
So, who owns the most land? Of all the individuals, who owns the most? Some suggestions from listeners. A lot of them are getting it right. The King of Saudi is one suggestion from Jake. Frank in Perivale, is it the Sultan of Brunei? It isn't.
It isn't.
Aaron in Accrington, is it the Duke of Westminster? It isn't, but we're getting sort of close to home, aren't we?
We're getting close to home.
Who is the individual who owns more land than anyone else?
The largest legal landowner on Earth is Her Majesty the Queen. She owns about a sixth of the planet.
It's an astonishing statistic. Is it aided by the fact that she owns Canada?
That's of considerable help. But the fact that she owns 2/3 of Antarctica also helps a lot.
Just explain how that might be the case.
Well, it comes about because of the empire. The empire was always owned, every bit of it, in the name of the monarch. And that tradition was started in 1066 by William the Conqueror, William the Bastard as the French call him. And it stuck. You know, every country, when we took over Australia, it was taken in the name of the monarch. And she has just inherited what's left.
Right, so she legally owns 2/3 of Antarctica.
She legally owns 2/3 of Antarctica. It's held in her name.
So all the homeowners and property owners in Canada, they're holding it in her name as well. They might think that they own a nice house, but they don't.
They own the bricks and mortar. They don't own the site.
What, and
that's the key.
And how does Canada compare with New Zealand, Australia, and this country?
Identical. Freehold isn't ownership. Let's wait for this. The Irish Law Commission described it as metaphysical. What you own is an interest in an estate in land in fee simple. Now, this is all medieval stuff, and the object, this was all dreamt up in the 1925 Land Act, and it was to make sure that the monarch remained the owner of all the land in the United Kingdom, Canada, New Zealand and Australia, and 15 other places.
Right, so when you visit a large estate, so and you go, you visit a country house or something like that, and it belongs to the Duke of this or the Earl of somewhere else, it doesn't actually belong to them at all. Is that what
the land does not belong to them? They are holders. They are tenants of the Queen, and so are every other freeholder.
Right, and that is why she owns, I think it's 6,600 million acres.
Yep.
You did say in your answer to the question, legal landowner.
Yeah.
Are there illegal landowners who own more than Her Majesty?
No, I used the word legal to show that her ownership is cemented into law. It's not a kind of accident, and it's not some kind of myth. It's real.
Does it matter? I mean, if I own my house and it's worth X, and then when I decide to move on, I can sell it hopefully for X plus a little bit extra. Does it really matter who owns the land that it's built on?
It doesn't at the moment. It doesn't matter. No. But think of, well, first of all, this crazy way of owning your home adds complexity. Complexity always adds cost. Cost and complexity together increase risk. Now, where does the risk arise from? If an extremist government came to power in our country, and there are other places where it's happened, they don't have to nationalise the land. It's already nationalised. Labour missed this in 1945. All governments act in the name of the Queen. So all a government would have to do to nationalise all the land of the United Kingdom is just say it's already nationalised. We're now going to charge you rent for your house. So
how come you have this extraordinary interest in land ownership, Kevin? You've written a book about who owns the land in this country. There have been books about who owns Scotland and so on, but who owns the world is a pretty daunting prospect, isn't it?
Yes. When it was finished, I wondered if I realised what a burden it was going to be, whether I'd have done it. Anyway, it's finished. And I don't understand why nobody's ever tried it before. I mean, it was hard going. It took 4 years, but it's done.
And you have a breakdown in the book of every single country, and as far as it's possible to collate the information, who owns every single bit of every single country. What trends did you discover? I imagine our Queen is not alone in being a monarch who owns an awful lot.
No, she defined the major trend. Most countries have never recovered from feudalism and medieval forms of ownership, and at least 2/3 of all the countries in the world are in a form of medieval ownership. If it's not a monarch claiming to own them, it's the state, and there actually is no difference. It really means that your hold on the ground under your house has an impediment to it.
So in China, for example, everything would be owned by the state, would it?
China is a fairly extreme example. China, the state owns all land, and you can't get even a freehold. All the state of China gives you is a leasehold, very fixed in time.
Having analysed the entire world, is there a country that you could point to and say, if only we all did it like that?
The United States of America.
Explain.
In the United States of America, the land you stand on is yours. The federal government and the state of the United States does not own the ground you stand on. There's no superior alternative owner. Now, in the United States, it's quite interesting because the federal government owns 1/3 of the United States, but it owns it exactly as any other private owner. Do you know what I mean? There are laws which say the state can take land for public use, but when it comes to the courts, the federal government stands before a judge the same way as the private owner standing beside the federal government. The government gets no privileges as owner.
And what are the political implications of that?
Well, I think the political implications would be that our citizenship, remember we're mostly, apart from yours truly here, most people now are British citizens. But they're
subjects, aren't we?
No, you're not.
Subjects of the Queen?
Nope. You're looking at one, but you probably are not. My wife and my 3 daughters are British citizens, and we didn't discover that till we were changing passports. And I suddenly realised I was a subject and they were all citizens.
So why are you a subject?
Because I was born abroad, in effect, in the Republic
of Ireland.
Of Ireland.
So you got, but okay, so
right of residence.
So we are not the Queen's subjects.
No, this is an extraordinary change that nobody seems to understand. It occurred, and you only got notice when you applied for a passport. Suddenly, it didn't come back as you're a British subject. It came back saying you're a British citizen, with no explanation of how it happened. The law was changed and nobody noticed.
Do you feel as though you're missing out on something?
No, I think it's quite fun, really.
This from Victoria, an email from Victoria, who says she's in a rented flat in leasehold property in London. Question for Kevin. In the light of yesterday's debates about slavery reparations, if all the British land seized by William the Conqueror and divvied out amongst the Norman aristocracy was returned to the British people, how much richer would we all be?
That's a really tricky one. It was the southern 35 counties of England. He didn't seize anything beyond that at the time. He invaded Scotland and Wales, but wasn't successful. So the people of England would get very rich because they would get back the land of 35 counties in the south.
It's once you start probing away at this, Kevin, it seems an absolutely extraordinary picture, and I can only conclude that people aren't, either they just don't know and are being kept in ignorance, or they're not bothered.
No one's bothered because it doesn't impinge obviously on anything. The additional cost in land transaction isn't very noticeable, but it's there. The potential threat people never think about because people don't think about threats, properly speaking. You know, that extreme government could just simply say the land is nationalised, we're now going to charge you rent. But mostly, it's something I discovered when I was doing the book. People are thought to believe what they're told, not what they actually see. Most people see the document which, makes them a homeowner, and they think, this is how the lawyers describe ownership, an interest in an estate, not realising it's how the law makes quite sure that you don't own the land. It works the other way.